What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Videohomicide, back with another movie recommendation. Today, we're going to go back to 1974, to Italy, to a film directed by Enzo Castellari, who also directed the Bronx Warriors trilogy. Bronx Warriors, the first one, is fucking awesome. The second two, I haven't seen in probably close to 10 years, but I can vouch for that first one. It's great. And today, we're going to talk about the Franco Nero starring Street Law. Yes. I've had this film in my collection for a long time. This is, in fact, a bootleg. This is a really shitty quality print job that I did from the fucking library years ago. And I hadn't watched it. Maybe I started it one night. Who the fuck knows? But I just watched it, and I gotta say, this film is known as sort of a Death Wish ripoff. It came like right after Death Wish came out. And I gotta say, I don't think it's, like, I get what you mean, like a guy gets wrong shit done to him, but I just think that Paul Kersey, like Charles Bronson's character in Death Wish, has more of a reason to go off the rails than Franco Nero does in Street Law. So basically, Franco Nero plays this guy who's like, some sort of big wig or something. Like he's a guy that's going to take a bunch of money out of the bank, basically, and during that incident he gets his ass kicked by the three bank robbers, and he gets taken hostage, and they kick his ass in the car a little bit more, leave him basically at a shipping yard, and he gets found, and basically he vows revenge on these guys, and he basically has a unique way of going about finding these dudes. He enlists the help of this other criminal guy, and they kind of have a bit of a Scorpio, Frank Callahan from Dirty Harry thing happening with payphones, which I always love. And our guy, who's basically the career criminal, he tries to fuck over Franco Nero. Franco Nero is a little bit smarter than that, so but basically they end up working together to find these three guys that fucking basically kicked Franco Nero's ass, and now he wants to kill them all. Of course, they eventually do find the guys, and of course, our friend, the career criminal dude, he gets his ass kicked, gets killed by the end of the film. Spoiler alert. But I gotta say, I had a lot of fun with this film, and it's known as a polischedi film, which are like European crime films, which, right up there beside giallo. There's some really good ones. There's one that I had in my collection called Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man, I believe is what the title was, and I think it was Ruggiero Deodato. And that film, I swear someone fucking pinched it out of my collection because I cannot find it. I looked for it. I remember looking for it when I lived at the apartment still. And then the other day, I was like, fuck, I wonder where that is. And it is not on this wall. It is 100% not in my possession. So that pisses me off. But that sort of goes with the territory of having so much movies. Lord forbid, if someone does fucking rip you off, you might not know for a long time. Like maybe, for instance, I want to watch Combat Shock. I'm not reaching for this film on an everyday basis. You know what I mean? So if it got pinched from the collection, you might not know for a while, unless you really know what your library looks like. You know what I mean? So I hope that's not the case. Hopefully it just got thrown out, or I did purge the collection a few times, and it's possible that it could have went out in one of those purges, but. It pisses me off because it's a genre of film that I don't have many of, and it's one that I want to continue to explore. But again, we're living in the era of 2024 where everything is like $50. And if you're in Canada and you're a collector of physical media, you know that you're getting fucked every time you fucking tap the debit, swipe the credit card, hand over the cash. You're getting fucked, and they're just laughing at you because you go online and you see a film like, I don't know. For instance, I've used these as a perfect example. These are the 4Ks of Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Cat of Nine Tails, and I also got Deep Red. Unfortunately, they didn't release, what's it called? Four Flies on Grey Velvet by Arrow. Maybe they did by now. I don't know. I don't really keep up to it because, again, I don't like the part of collecting that makes it a financial burden. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, in order to keep up with all the new releases and stuff, like, you have to be selling cocaine basically to afford it all, or have a fucking sugar daddy, sugar mama, or you're fucking independently wealthy from all the wieners you've been smoking. But Street Law, amazing film, good violence, good ass kicking. There's a couple of really good scenes where like during these bank robberies, and then later on You know, there's a lot of just sort of machine gunnery, shotgun fuck aroundery, fires being started, all that stuff. Like this movie, again, you could double feature this with Death Wish any day. I think I like Death Wish not a huge amount more, but I do prefer Death Wish over Street Law. And again, I just think that Paul Kersey has such a so much more of a reason to go on this revenge, you know what I mean? Because his daughter was, you know, fucking brutally raped. His mom, or not his mom, his wife got killed. So, you know, and plus you get Jeff, like the guys, like the assholes in this film, they're not nearly as memorable as those three assholes that fuck over Paul Kersey's family, especially Jeff Goldblum when he delivers his famous line, "Goddamn rich cunt, I kill rich cunts." And that is a phrase that has stuck with me for my entire life. My brother says it, my wife says it, my mom says it, we all say it. Goddamn rich cunts, we kill them. So, if you're looking for any other films like this, I would highly recommend checking out Facebook, if you have Facebook, because there's some really good groups out there. There's a Polisketi one, there's a Giallo one, slashers. There's basically a Facebook group for every genre of film. And it's a good way to find out about new films. You know, you could go on there, post a question. Hey, I'm looking for the best Death Wish ripoffs. Lay them on me. And most people are pretty fucking willing to spread the information. There's not a lot of like this, you know, gatekeepery. You know what I mean? Like I've been getting back into comics. Actually, tomorrow that new Hate issue 3 comes out, so I got to go pick that up. But like getting back into the YouTube comic book shit. Pussies. It's nothing but fuck. Not everyone, like especially all my OGs, still OG, but it's just pussies, man. And all they're doing is like, I'm gonna make a drama video. It's like, how old are you guys? You guys that fucking loserish that you got nothing better to do than to argue with other fucking basement dwellers? Crazy, man. That type of shit. Like if you type in like YouTube comic book community right now, especially right now, it's going to be flooded with all these fuck faces just like ranting about this guy, about that guy. I didn't like what he said. They slabbed their book, blah, blah, blah. These fucking retards don't even read their comics. They don't read comics. It's all a financial thing, you know, and one clown said to me on one of my videos, like, quit complaining about prices or whatever. It's called business. You know what? Fuck you, clown. Fuck you. I'm an actual fan, okay? I'm not some fucking Johnny come lately that used to collect baseball cards and now I'm looking for the hottest keys, you know what I mean, so I can put them on the shelf and maybe one day I might be able to flip it and my profit will be about 47 cents and my dick will be down to my knee, you know, and the whores will be lined up at the door because I have a fucking slabbed Fantastic Four book or whatever it is, you know. It's not very welcoming. The comic book community is not a welcoming community because the second you get in with a clique, that's your clique. And if you talk with anyone else that one of those people don't like, then you're on the outskirts. That's why I never really, you know, I'm not in any kind of, you know, of these fucking wearing a hoodie with a candlelit room talking about how great all of our slabbed comics are, you know, or like the first appearance of some fucking idiot that might be in a movie in 4 years. So this book's going to spike from 14 cents to $14. I don't know what to tell you, man. This was supposed to be about Street Law and it turned into a rant, but I guess it was coming for a long time. So, again, anyone else that wants to leave a recommendation of a film in the comments, please do so. Some people have. I haven't gotten around to any of those yet, but it's good to have a bit of a backlog. That way I can, you know, every once in a while pull from it. Like I watched a movie the other day, today actually. It was called Human Factor with George Kennedy, who is the guy that owns Chief Woodenhead in Creepshow 2. So it was another Italian revenge film, but at least George Kennedy had like a good reason to go on revenge. Like his whole family was murdered. So I don't know, man. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure you leave a 666 in the comments. And if anybody wants to get any copies of Cinema 187, which is my exploitation and horror art zine, message me at cinema.187 on Instagram. You can secure yourself a couple of copies. I've also got the Cinema 187 trading cards, which are now available. You want to get any of those? Again, cinema.187. And with that being said, adios. Have a great week. There'll be no live stream this Friday night because I'm going to a cottage, and I'm going to be so fucking stoned that I won't even be able to work the phone, let alone keep my eyes open. So Adios.